The Tanana Chiefs Conference is a consortium of 37 federally recognized tribes located on the Yukon River drainage over an area of 235,000 square miles. It's a large area, roughly just a little smaller than the state of Texas. There's about 10,000 tribal members in total that reside in the villages and in Alaska's second largest urban area, Fairbanks. There's limited employment. The economy is a mixture of cash and subsistence, hunting and fishing, and we face all the challenges of dealing with small, remote communities with limited infrastructure, such as roads and water and sewer and all of the challenges that comes with it.
The Tribal TANF program at TCC is the Athabascan Self-Sufficiency Assistance Partnership. It basically has a caseload that runs from 120 to 150. We service tribal members that reside in the 47 villages, including our Fairbanks area, which is one of our urban areas. Some of our unique work activities through the Athabascan Self-Sufficiency Assistance Partnership is hunting, fishing, caring for elders, and the hard work of providing for a family in a remote tribal community. 6 of our major activities that happen in our Tribal TANF program are training, motivating, mentoring, mirroring, monitoring, and measuring. Our first kickoff event for getting our tribal members motivated that are on our TANF program is called Gila. It's called Let's Go, and it's a workshop that we designed where they can come in for a couple days where we pay for hotel, lodging, and meals for them to attend workshops such as customer service training, interview skills, resume building, along with information that we can supply for them through supportive services that would help them obtain employment, and also provide them with the supportive services of receiving new clothing for them to be interviewed for employment opportunities.
The Subsidized Employment Program actually got started as part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funding that Tanana Chiefs received a couple of years ago. Funding was available under the assumption to tribes and to states under the assumption that with the poor economy that there would be additional people entering the welfare rolls. Alaska had experienced a little bit of a different impact due to the economy. Basically, there were no factories to close down, and we had actually been reducing our caseload significantly from its original 450 families to, as Anita said, about 100 to 150 families. So the only way we could technically spend those program dollars was, the only other way was through subsidized employment. Our solution was basically bring everybody to town, all the people from the villages, and gather up everybody who's on our rolls, and basically give them the opportunity for a full-time 40-hour-a-week job at $14 an hour for them and their working-age children, and actually have the opportunity to turn their welfare check into a paycheck. To date, there's been over 164 individuals that worked in the subsidized employment program. There's a full variety of jobs that were included by participants in the program, everything from clerical jobs to labor jobs out in the villages. Those jobs, as Anita was talking about, really took on the flavor of what people do and how they live in the villages, helping elders, getting things done that need to be done in the community. There's a few paying jobs in the villages, but lots of work to do. And living a subsistence life is also a lot of work. So we've had everything from shopkeepers, both here in town and working in stores, working at museums. We had a number of people who worked in retail, and a number of people who worked in pretty much all the summer types of jobs that occur in an area like Fairbanks, where tourism offers different opportunities in the hospitality sector, as well as other standard jobs. So it wasn't one type of job. They weren't all entry-level jobs. Some of the individuals worked in our housing and weatherization programs, and were kept on well after the program ended and until the housing season ended. While the funding is, the ARA funding, the funding from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act was a one-time shot. We were actually able to have a longer-term success with 106 of the 164 individuals who participated actually continuing in their employment, continuing in other ways to be self-sufficient, and to date not entering back onto the rolls. The savings from that allowed us to basically use our program funds. As long as we're successful, we can continue the program. I think that the real value from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act is that it actually was the impetus and the catalyst to allow us to try something different, to embed that in our logic model, and then to track it, to monitor it, and to see if it worked, and it appears to work.
Most of the engagement of the employers occurs on the client side. We usually notify the client of the opportunity, of course, through GILA, at the workshop where they receive the information, possibly even some employers at that time that they could approach. We do want them to be self-sufficient, so of course, instead of handing them that job, they do obtain that job by meeting the employer. Another key element that we've added to it is we have provided job coaches that are linked to the clients that help them through ways of engaging with the employers, maybe how to ask or how to approach an employer that they can talk to one-on-one.
We certainly were able to see from our standard reporting data that we collect that caseloads were dropping. It was no indicator that that drop was due to successful experiences, people migrating out of the area, any number of different things. So along with the help of our IS team member, we were able to develop a survey schedule and basically contacted those individuals who didn't return to the rolls. Sense of place is really important for tribal people, and so although we serve the largest service area, TANF service area of any tribal TANF program, people know where people are at. People keep in touch with their villages and with their families. And so we were very successful in being able to actually contact individuals and develop a survey protocol that gave us some indication of just exactly how many of those people were still working in other types of environments where they no longer needed assistance. Some people got married, some people got by on their subsistence activities and entrepreneurial odd jobs in the community. Other individuals were on unemployment, which was a secondary indicator to us that they were working beyond the program, but at this point were at risk. But the key was actually getting more detailed information, much more detailed than just caseload statistics going down. And overall, we've interpreted those results of our survey as as indicating 39 to 40% of those individuals who did not return to the rolls as being successful outcomes, as interpreted by tribal leadership in people going back to work or standing on their own 2 feet and not returning to the rolls.
We actually did another data collection where we had conducted surveys with the employers to get feedback to find out what their thoughts were about how it was to go through subsidized employment and have an employee work under that structure. The things that we needed to maybe improve on training-wise with clients that were entering into the workforce, and maybe some other additional support services were some of the things that came out of those surveys that we maybe wanted to go ahead and improve on the next go around. We did have a participant that was under subsidized employment through one of our local tribal councils, and actually started the position doing some type of accounting as energy assistants, where they were receiving benefits checks for one of our other programs for wood, and he was responsible for calculating the amounts that came in and then responsible for getting the wood vendors to go out and deliver those woods to elders in the population within that community. The cool thing about this story is that not only did he gain the experience, but they also retained him as an employee. And so the Tribal Council actually found funding to be able to support this position in a long-term structure.
Aside from the work experience itself, the addition to their resume of having an additional job, references from employers that were satisfied with their performance, everyone who participated in the subsidized employment program was a winner. Each one of them was eligible to apply for and receive the Earned Income Tax Credit. Our program also partnered with the Alaska Business Development Center, and as we do every year, flew out tax preparers to each one of those villages. In our first year of operation, many of our clients actually received either equal to or more than what they earned during the summer in their subsidized employment positions. So we were able to increase the general annual income of individuals. We were able to give them that additional experience, that additional exposure to employers in their community, and just an opportunity to feel that they were providing for themselves, their families, and their communities. We have 37 federally recognized tribes that have to come together and buy into any plan or any model that we propose. This was an easy sell for our program because the program itself addresses some very important traditional Athabascan values: hard work, self-sufficiency, providing for the family. These are all basic Athabascan values, and working and receiving payment for hard work so you can provide for yourself, be more self-sufficient, and add to the community fit in very nicely and was an easy sell for us. The tribal councils were very supportive of the program itself, primarily because the program did reflect those traditional Athabascan values, and also generated some additional money that circulated in the economies of very small communities where jobs were few and got work done.
With the funding that we received through the Native Family Assistance grant through the state of Alaska, they've been able to, in our grant award for 2013, open up support services to spend funds on wage subsidy. With the current structure that we have for our subsidized employment type program that we have with our tribal TANF, it'll give us much more funding to be able to support, create subsidized positions out in our tribal communities and, of course, in our urban areas as well.
And I think that some of the results of, our initial program with the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funding, and the collection of information that clearly evidenced some level of success really convinced our other partner, the state of Alaska, to expand our use of state funds and invest them as well. So we've got some new partners and new buy-in and new resources to continue the program.
This podcast was brought to you on behalf of the Welfare Peer Technical Assistance Network, the Office of Family Assistance, the Administration for Children and Families, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.